What's up, guys? HackyDude 1940 here, and I'm bringing you guys a new series, the New York Rangers 2014-15 season in NHL 14. Now, I saw that 2BC Productions just started a series like this, and that's what inspired me to do this. It's not going to be the same thing, though. For those of you guys that don't know, 2BC Productions started a series in NHL 15. He's doing the Toronto Maple Leafs season all the way through. He's playing every single game, um, that's on the Maple Leafs schedule for the 2014-15 season. But he's already on, like, the 4th episode. And, the season hasn't even started. But what I wanted to do for the series, and what I thought was originally, well, what originally it was going to be like when I saw it was, he would do the games after the games actually happened. And that's what I'm going to do. So, this is episode 1, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Rangers' off-season, moves, acquisitions, what they gained, what they lost, all that kind of stuff. If you're a Rangers fan, this is going to be a series that you're going to love. If you're not a Rangers fan, then I don't know how you're going to enjoy it, but yeah. And so the next episode will be the season opener. So it won't be for another couple weeks. Because, what I want to do is, after the game is played, then I'll record the video playing that game and talking about what happened in that game in real life, during the commentary. So I think that's a cool idea for the series. I know I haven't recorded in a while, and that's just because I haven't had a lot of motivation to. School started up, I've been focusing a lot on that, and I just don't know what you guys like or what I should put out, so I just haven't been motivated to really record or upload anything. But this is something personally for me that I really just want to do, just to do it. It'll be fun. But now let's get into the lineups, or the lineup. As you can see, I edited all the lines. I went and I edited all the individual player stats to what I think they should be. So the first line, Rick Nash, 88 overall, Derek Stepan, 87, and St. Louis, 89. Second line, Mats Zuccarello, Derek Brassard, and Chris Kreider, all 85s. I love this line. I can't wait to see what they do during the season, if they all play together. It could be like this when the season starts, Kreider in the first line with Nash, or really like flipped around like that. There's all different combinations they've been saying. And then the third line, Hagelin, 85, JT Miller, 80 overall, and Stempniak, 82. And on the fourth line, Matthew Lombardi, 81, Dominic Moore, 81, and Tanner Glass, 77. And then on defense, Ryan McDonagh, 90 overall, one of the best defenders in the NHL. And the new captain of the New York Rangers. They haven't officially announced him as the captain, but I've thought he was going to be the newest captain since last year when the playoffs started, and he's my favorite player on the team. So I'm very excited for him to get the C. But then he's paired up with Dan Girardi, who is another contender, for that C, 87 overall. And then the second line, Mark Stahl, 87. Dan Boyle, 85. John Moore, 81. Kevin Klein, 82. One of the best defensive cores in the National Hockey League. And power play lineups, if you guys want to see this, it's pretty much the same as the regular lines. I inserted Dan Boyle in the power play, John Moore with Girardi, and all that kind of stuff. And penalty kill, we have Lombardi, Moore, then Miller, Stempniak. There's 3-man penalty kill, 4-on-4 extra attacker goalie. Lundqvist is 93, Talbot is 81. And then there's the shootout. So there we go. And then on the bench, we can insert these guys in whenever if we feel we need to. Centers, we're using all of those guys. In the left wing position, Dan Carcillo we can't use because he's not a Ranger anymore. But I just couldn't take him off the roster because he doesn't have a team right now. But Ryan Malone, as you can see, 80 overall, is on our bench. 6'4", power forward. We could use him at some point if we need to, maybe take out Tanner Glass. I just thought Tanner Glass, we need that tough guy on the team. So we have Tanner Glass in there, even though Ryan Malone is a tough guy. In right wingers, we also have Jesper Fast, 79 overall, on the bench that we can use. And then defensively, we have Michael Kostka and Justin Falk. I believe Justin Falk and Michael Kostka. I'm trying to think who. Oh, and Matt Hunwick. I also need to put Matt Hunwick on the team, but those are some defense. We can't use Rafael Diaz either. He's not a Ranger anymore. So yeah, those are the lines. We're just going to jump into a game against a randomized team. I will see you guys in the game. Alright guys, so we are in the game. We are just going to choose a random team to go up against. We are going to randomize it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we're going to be playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the team that we destroyed in the playoffs. And by destroyed, I don't mean like we destroyed them in the series. I mean like we destroyed their team after they lost to us. Skill level superstar, just make sure this is all fine. 5 minutes, that's fine. Camera, classic. Rules, custom, goalie mode off. Yeah, rules, that seems fine. Penalties, yeah, that should all be fine. Superstar, commentary off. Alright, advanced to gameplay. Alright, so now let's take a look at what the Rangers gained and what they lost in the offseason. Now, just this right here, I was kind of nervous going into the offseason because the Rangers lost a lot of players at first, and then they ended up gaining quite a bit. But just numbers-wise, the Rangers gained, let's see, the Rangers added 13 players to the team and lost 5. And that's what I mean about them gaining quite a bit versus what they lost. So I'm going to try to commentate like from the game and this as well. I'll try to concentrate on both. But the Rangers added Chris Bourque, Tanner Glass, Kevin Hayes, Matthew Lombardi, Ryan Malone, Chris Mueller, Lee Stempniak, Dan Boyle, Matt Hunwick, Stephen Kampfer, Michael Kostka, Cedric Desjardins, and Nick Tarnasky. They lost Brad Richards, Anton Strawman, Derek Dorsett, Brian Boyle, and Benoit Pouliot. So, at first, I wasn't too excited going into the season because, you know, the Rangers lost Brad Richards, who was their first-line center, or really shared the first-line time with Derek Stepan, but Brad Richards did get a lot more ice time than Stepan did. Crosby almost scored on us right away. I'm forgetting that I have to play the game. It's on Superstar, so I'll have to actually pay attention to the game. Oh, we just ran Lundqvist. McDonough, don't fight. We need McDonough out there. But, you know, we lost Brad Richards, but I think Stepan... I don't think Derek Stepan will ever get to that first-line center role, or, like, prestige, I guess. I don't think he's ever going to be, you know, known as, you know, a first-line center, or in EA Sports terms, you know, like an 89 or 90 overall. But I think he's a good in-between. You know, he's kind of like a Tyler Bozak or like Kadri. Like, put him alongside a good player, and he'll do very well. So I like Stepan on the first line with Nash and St. Louis or Kreider, whoever he plays with. And also Derek Brassard is a great second-line center. I like how he has come along since we traded for him in the Gaborik trade. I really like how he's progressed over the last 2 years. So I think the second line will be very good this year. Ooh, Boyle, almost got him. Almost got that deflection there. Instead, I'm trying to concentrate in the game and talking. And also, we lost Anton Strawman, and we gained Dan Boyle to replace him. Oh, man! Sniped it. I was trying to cut down the passing lane, and he just walked in and sniped it on me. Pascal Dupuis. Man. Showing that he doesn't need Crosby. Oh, man. What is he, like 36 years old? Hurt all the time? Still do it. Yeah, so I do like the 1-2 punch of Strawman, or not Strawman, of Stepan and Brassard. I guess I'll just go by position. And also, in the third-line center position, we have JT Miller, who is supposed to get another chance this season to play on the third-line position. The Rangers desperately need him to take that next step to the NHL level and stay here instead of just getting sent down to Connecticut, or I guess Hartford again, all season long. So let's hope that he stays up on the roster this time. Oh, nice passing there. And also we have Matthew Lombardi, who is a center slash left wing, so he could play that third line center position if we need him to. And Dominic Moore is the fourth line center, so he's a great fourth line center to have. We did lose Brian Boyle as well in the center position. Oh, right, tuck it. There you go. Rick Nash. Hopefully he has a bounce back season, man. Hopefully. I think he will, but we'll see. Yeah, so centerman, for once, I think the Rangers are covered in the center position. I think we look very nice in the center position once again this season. On the left wing, we are very stacked. Rick Nash. I'm not going to say like who's playing in the left wing. I'm saying who's a natural left winger. So that includes Rick Nash, Carl Hagelin, Matt Zuccarello, Chris Kreider. Did I just say a couple names twice? I'll just start over. Nash, Zuccarello, Kreider. I'm trying to think. Tanner Glass, Ryan Malone. I guess Lombardi can play the wing. I'm trying to think of who's in the lineup here. Did I already say Hagelin? If not, Hagelin. So yeah, we're pretty stacked at the left wing. As far as right wing, though, that's where it hurts. We have Marty St. Louis and Lee Stempniak. Those are really the only two natural right wingers, and St. Louis is left-handed. So really, we only have one natural right winger that's right-handed. So that kind of hurts us. So that might be a concern. Also, Ryan Malone is a left winger, if I didn't mention him. McDonough step into it. Oh, man. It's close. But on the right wing, like I said, we have St. Louis and Stempniak, but we do insert guys like Nash, Kreider, who can play the right wing. Zuccarello played the right wing last season. So we definitely have guys who can play the right wing. As far as defense, we are just stacked in the defensive core. The Rangers have always been a great defensive team. I believe third in the NHL last year for goals against per game. And like top 5 for penalty kill as well. So definitely one of the better defensive teams in the National Hockey League. Our top 4 is very nice, and then I love Kevin Klein and John Moore in the bottom 6. That's an amazing third line pairing. John Moore, he's just really coming along in the NHL. He really is. And then Kevin Klein is just a great defensive. I really appreciate what Kevin Klein does. I mean, I loved that Michael Del Zotto trade just because Kevin Klein, you never see him make a mistake. He always makes the right play. He's just such, a poised veteran guy back there that doesn't make any mistakes. He just always makes the right move. And that's what's great about him. He never does anything fancy, but he never makes a bad play either. He's nice and silent out there. Does everything right. Dan Boyle, Dan Girardi, Dan Boyle, Mark Stahl. You have the offensive-defensive defenseman combo. And then Girardi, McDonough, same thing. Even though McDonough's two-way defenseman, he's definitely more offensive than Dan Girardi. And then in the net, of course, Henrik Lundqvist. I'd say Quick and Lundqvist are both the best goalie in the league. I'm not going to say Quick's the best. I'm not going to say Lundqvist is the best. Because Lundqvist, I think, carries his team more than... I'm not going to get too far into it because I could talk for an hour on this subject. But I think McDonough I think Lundqvist carries the Rangers more than Quick carries the Kings. I think the Kings would still be able to win the... Well, I'm not going to say... I still think the Kings would be a great team without Quick, but I'm not sure how the Rangers would do without Lundqvist. But Quick, then you can fire right back with, but he's won 2 Stanley Cups, and you can always argue with that. Lundqvist, the king without his crown, but you look at his resume. Other than aside from the Stanley Cup, he's done everything there is to do. Really, one of the best and the best goalie in Rangers history. Really. And then Cam Talbot, who, in my opinion, is one of the best backup goaltenders in the National Hockey League. He really saved the Rangers last season. Nice goal, Brassard. There we go. What a pass and play. But, Cam Talbot last season, at the beginning of the year when Lundqvist was in his slump at the beginning, Cam Talbot stepped in and won us some key games. So, big props to Cam Talbot. He really stepped up there, and he was saying this offseason that he wants to prove this year that it wasn't a fluke year. You know, he wasn't a one-hit wonder. He wants to prove yet again this year that he can be a great backup, and that's what we need. You know, Lundqvist, he needs a break occasionally, you know, especially against those teams like Florida and Edmonton or Buffalo. You know, we need a goaltender like Cam Talbot to step in and be able to win those games easily. So it's great to have a backup like that. You know, the Rangers, it's been a while since we've had a solid backup. You know, we've gone through quite a few over the years. What? That was garbage. That was garbage. Lundqvist, what was that? Oh my god, Crosby still looks like he's 18 years old in this game. Come on, let's just see. What was that? Are they celebrating? Oh, jeez. Oh man, oh yeah, backups. You know, over the years we've had, you know, look at our list of backups. You know, Kevin Weeks, Stephen Valiquette, Jason LaBarbera, I think was on our team at one point as well. Alex Auld, Martin Biron. You know, we've had a lot of backups, and now finally I think we've got a nice young backup in Cam Talbot. I don't think Cam Talbot's ever going to emerge as a starter, but I think he's definitely a great backup to have. I just hope he doesn't, you know, have too good of a year, you know, if that makes any sense. I hope he doesn't, you know, play 20 games and go like 15-5 and think that all of a sudden he's, you know, a starting goalie that should be making, you know, $4 to $5 million a year and then go to a team like, I don't know, you know, Buffalo and become the starter or something like that. You know, I hope he stays as a backup and, you know, knows his role and, you know, he fits in the team nice. I just hope he doesn't, you know, get greedy. But we'll see. And also with the Rangers' loss, nice goal, step on. There we go, first line center. Like I said, Brad Richards, you know, he was a great player, but I mean, they had to let him go. I mean, like I said, they've added, what did I say, 13 players, and they couldn't have done that without buying out the contract of Brad Richards. They just couldn't afford him. He's getting older. He's getting slower on the power play. He was starting to slow down. He was making a lot of mistakes, especially at the point with keeping the puck in the zone. He kept getting tripped up at the blue line. It was ugly. It really was. He was a great player. He was a big leader for the team. I loved him. He was my favorite player in the team when he was there. But he had to be let go. You know, I made a video about that when it initially happened. You guys can go check that out. I think it was actually my first video on my channel. But we also lost Anton Strawman, like I said before, replaced by Dan Boyle. I'm fine with that. I'll actually get further into that subject in a bit. Derek Dorsett we lost, which I don't like that. We traded him for a third-round pick. I'm not sure what the pick was. I probably should have looked that up before I started recording. But I didn't. But just looking at it, Derek Dorsett for a third-round pick, I wish we would have kept Derek Dorsett. He was a very, you know, fast, gritty player. I loved our fourth line last year of Dominic Moore, Brian Boyle, and Derek Dorsett. That was a fantastic line. And Derek Dorsett, he was just that perfect fourth-line grinder. He was fast, he was physical, he was gritty. You know, he was just a great player. And he had some offensive touch, too. He had some flashy offensive plays, and like I said a few times now, he was fast. So I was pretty disappointed when I saw that we traded away Dorsett. But he was replaced by Tanner Glass, which I don't really like the replacement. I'd still rather have Dorsett, but what are you going to do? What did they say about Tanner Glass? He was like statistically like the worst player in the NHL last season. That's rough, but yeah, those are the stats after 2 periods. I've been mainly focused on the commentary. We also lost Brian Boyle, which is probably, in my opinion, the biggest loss. Brian Boyle was just a perfect player for us. An amazing third, fourth liner, 6'7". He wasn't fast as far as, you know, pure speed, but he had long strides, which made him, you know, fast. Like I said, 6'7". He had a great shot. He had a pretty good offensive touch to him, I have to say. You know, one season for the Rangers, he got 21 goals. He wasn't bad offensively. He had that great goal in the Stanley Cup Final against the LA Kings. I think it was Game 1 or Game 2. It was one of those beginning games, I think, where he just skated from blue line to blue line, from one end to the other, just completely skated through, power, cut across, and then shot across Jonathan Quick. It was beautiful. And then there's that one goal against Pittsburgh in Game 7 where he had that nice behind the back pass to Dominic Moore or Derek Dorsett right back. Whoa, that was weird. Nash. Right back to him, then he shot it right between Fleury's legs. Brian Boyle was just an all-around great player. He would definitely be missed. But it goes with a lot of these players. Anton Strawman, Derek Dorsett, Brian Boyle, Benoit Pouliot. Pretty much all of these players were nothing before they were Rangers. I mean, the Rangers, I'll grill them a lot for this over the years, how they turn good players bad. Scott Gomez, Chris Drury, Brad Richards, Wade Redden. All these guys go to the Rangers and they, sign these big deals, and then they, in just a couple of seasons, they're crap. But they also have a history of turning not so great players into pretty nice free agent pickups. I mean, look at Benoit Pouliot. Over the years, this guy has, what did they say, he was on 5 different teams in 4 years or something, or 5 teams in 5 years or something like that. Every single year, Pouliot is always on the market. He's always signed to a 1-year, $1 million deal. Every single year. Yeah, I think he's been on Boston, Minnesota, Tampa, all those teams. But he comes to New York. He plays in the third line with Zuccarello and Brassard. He has a fantastic year, and now he's signed to $5 million a year for 4 years or something like that, $20 million contract. Anton Strawman, he was a nothing defenseman, top 6 minor league defenseman in Columbus. The Rangers pick him up. I remember when they first picked him up. It was in the summer of, I think, 2011 when they got Brad Richards. And my dad was like, "Oh, the Strawmanator." They signed the Strawmanator on the team, and I was like, "Oh, well, is he good?" I don't know anything about him. And then I found his hockey card or something. I was like, he hasn't really done anything. And now, he's signed to $5 million a year for the next 3 or 4 years with Tampa. He's he's considered top 4 all-star defenseman apparently. I'll get more into Strawman in a couple of minutes. But they turned him into a great defenseman. He played with Mark Stahl. And Brian Boyle was a prospect for the LA Kings that wasn't really all he had going for him was his size, and especially LA, he didn't have a lot of spots. Oh, McDonough, double minor, the captain. Oh man. By the way, never mind. This isn't. Oh man, that looks nice with the C there. This isn't the first game of the regular season. This is just I guess we'll say preseason game. But once the regular season starts, I think what 2BC's doing is that he's actually doing the NHL 15 GM mode, so it actually keeps his stats tracked. But for this, obviously, I can't do the GM mode because it doesn't have the season games, to correct things. So don't worry, I'll keep it an Excel document or something. I'll keep track of the stats. Don't you guys worry. But Brian Boyle, he was just a prospect in LA, not much going for him other than his size. Comes to New York, and his first or second season, he has a 20-goal year. He ends up becoming an amazing player. Signs for $2.5 million for 2 or 3 years with Tampa. Just the Rangers, they make these players into notable players. Players that you want to pick up for your team. Oh man, that was dirty. Oh man, Hornquist, what are you doing? That's not legal. You went right in there. Alright, 42 seconds left. But Anton Strawman, I want to get into this because there are a lot of Tampa Bay Lightning fans that think they're going to win the Cup this year. And, and it's pretty funny because they got all the old Ranger guys. They think now that they've got, Callahan, Boyle, the Strawmanator. They feel like they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I know on all the hockey blogs and everything, the Lightning are saying that Anton Strawman actually carried Mark Stahl. People are saying, Strawman, he got paired up with Stahl, and, they fed off each other, that kind of thing. Well, Lightning fans are going out and saying, oh, well, Strawman, that was an amazing pickup. He's an all-star. He carried Mark Stahl. Okay, that's wrong. That's not true. Strawman was put along Mark... Don't get me wrong. Anton Strawman is a fantastic player. I love Anton Strawman. But he's not an all-star defenseman. He's not going to get you 40 points every single year. You know, you can't depend on him to be, you know, a top 2, you know, defenseman. You know, put him with a rookie and expect him to do really good. He's a great defenseman, but you guys are expecting the world from Anton Strawman, and I just don't want you Tampa Bay fans to be disappointed. But for those of you Tampa Bay fans who still think that Strawman carried Mark Stahl and he was the better defenseman of that pairing, if Mark Stahl and Anton Strawman were both in the free agent market, which defenseman do you think would be more anticipated? I'd probably go for Mark Stahl. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this video, guys. I didn't get to all of the players, unfortunately. There are still guys who I didn't mention, like Kevin Hayes. I guess I'll just nail them off pretty quickly here. Kevin Hayes, the young guy, the young kid, what is he, 6'5" or 6'6" or something? He's like a goal scorer, apparently. I mean, I can't wait to see what this kid is like. I know he played for Boston College with Chris Kreider. They played in the same line, so that'll be interesting to see if he can make the team. Ryan Malone, he had some problem with, you know, substance abuse. You know, he was driving under the influence, you know, possession, all that kind of stuff. But hopefully he's turned his life around. Hopefully he can maybe make the team, you know, if somebody gets injured or they just need him. You know, a nice fourth-line role. He's a nice big guy. You know, he even said in an interview he knows his role. He knows his role of, you know, being the tough guy who sticks up for his teammates. You know, and we really need a guy like that after losing Dorsett and Boyle and Brandon Prust a couple years ago. Guys like Chris Bourque, Chris Mueller, Steven Kampfer, Cedric Desjardins, Nick Tarnasky, they're not really big pickups. They're really just AHL guys, you know, depth guys in case guys get injured, but we'll see. Lee Stempniak, I talked about a little bit. A nice two-way forward, a nice third liner. Matt Hunwick, a nice depth defenseman. You know, a nice defensive defenseman maybe for the playoffs. Same with Michael Kostka, a nice offensive defenseman. And Cedric Desjardins, I guess, is just a backup or a starter for the Hartford Wolfpack. But yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys. The next episode will be the season opener. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy and you want this series to continue, even though it will anyway, because this is just one of those personal series for me that I'd love to continue to do. But if you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.